Hey everybody! So today we're going to talk some more about the Galactic Center. Specifically a little bit more about the Galactic Anti-Center and how I think it might play in. I'm still not 100% sure about this, but going this way with it does feel like it's some of it anyway. It does feel like it's on the right track. But before I continue, I want to make it very clear that I am literally just fucking with astrology here. I have lots of astrological knowledge, but this particular area is one where I am literally just fucking with astrology, tossing ideas out there, all that kind of stuff. I reserve the right for this not to be correct in the future. These are just some theories, some ideas. They may or may not be, need to be tailored later on. But, if we never tossed anything out there, we'd never learn anything new. So, anyway, just that little disclaimer first. So I've mentioned before that the Galactic Anti-Center, I do feel like the Galactic Anti-Center plays in with the Galactic Center. And I think it's important like the Galactic Center is. I even think it can... There is like how I've mentioned that the Galactic Center, if you've got like a planet conjunct the Galactic Center, that planet is what's actually receiving whatever is received from the Galactic Center. Well, I think in a similar way, the Galactic Anti-Center can also receive stuff too. It's just different. It's in a different way. I also have this feeling that the Galactic Anti-Center, and this might be the most important for people that have the actual oppositions between the two, not just one or the other, but an opposition, like a planet conjunct the Galactic Center and a planet conjunct the Galactic Anti-Center. But that the Galactic Anti-Center might... It's not where you bring it down to Earth. It's not where you bring the information from the Galactic Center down to Earth. But it might be a place where you put the information together in a way. Or maybe, this is another idea, or maybe people with planets conjunct the Galactic Anti-Center. I do think that there is a receiving of information that happens. I do think that there is. It might not be all at once. People that have planets conjunct the Galactic Center, they might get this big idea at one time, right? Or this download all at once. And then have to make sense of it. The Galactic Anti-Center, on the other hand, people that have planets conjunct the Galactic Anti-Center, or like a major asteroid or whatever, they might get downloads piece by piece. And I make that comment because I do, I don't know if it's in the same blog post. I wrote a couple different blog posts about this. I know I've mentioned several times that I do think Jupiter retrograde correlates with the Galactic Center. The energy of Jupiter retrograde correlates with the Galactic Center. I'm tempted to say that the Anti-Center, the Galactic Anti-Center, corresponds with Mercury retrograde. I feel like it might. With that energy, it could. So Mercury retrograde is fed a lot of noise, right? It gets a lot of noise. People that have Mercury retrograde in their natal chart, they have to learn to trust their intuitions, first of all. And they have to learn to tune out the noise that doesn't really serve them or their soul's purpose. Or what have you. So if you were to correlate that with the Galactic Anti-Center, perhaps this is a place, and remember, this is also a place that's what I believe to be like blinded by a very bright star, right? So you could apply that to, I mean, it actually is, there's a really bright star next to it. But if you were to apply that to the natal chart, the galactic center, anything conjunct the galactic anti-center, is going to be blinded. There's going to be a blinding that happens. And there's also this fucking space dust. So that feels cloudier, noisier in a way. Like it would be harder to decipher the information, right? It would be harder to be able to decipher what's coming through there, from there. So because of that, it makes me think that it might function a little bit like Mercury retrograde. That things that come through there, there might be some stuff that comes through there, through planets conjunct the galactic anti-center, say. But it needs to be, the information needs to be taken piece by piece to actually make sense of it. To actually make sense of it, to be able to see it, and to be able to see the bigger picture. So if you've got planets conjunct the galactic center and conjunct the galactic anti-center, or major asteroids, or something else, it's almost like you're needing to work from both Jupiter retrograde and Mercury retrograde motions. I do feel like they probably correlate. I think that there is a correlation there. There does feel like there is. Just in the way these two areas function. I do feel like there is a correlation there. So if you have planets conjunct the galactic anti-center, I think it's probably really important, because I could see downloads, little things coming to you, right? Not all at once, like a planet conjunct the galactic center might receive information, but like little things here and there. Little bitty things that you'll need to piece together and be able to see beyond the blinding, beyond the space dust, which does feel kind of like noise. To put all of this together to be able to see the full picture of what is being downloaded. Does that kind of make sense? That's kind of where I'm going with this right now. I know there's more to this. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there probably is, but that is kind of where I'm going with that right now as far as the oppositions go. Now, if you don't have a conjunction to the galactic center, you just have a conjunction to the galactic anti-center, then you're not working both processes in tandem. You're just getting the small pieces of information, right? Some of which may or may not be necessary to keep. That seems possible. So it's kind of being able to decipher and see which pieces need to be kept and how to put them together to see the big picture. Now, another thing I noticed, and this is kind of in a similar but different, it's talking about the Galactic Anti-Center. I feel like, okay, polarization. I think, and that sounds kind of stupid because I realize oppositions are a polarity as it is, right? They just are. Sorry, excuse me, there's like bad allergies today. They're terrible today. So anytime you've got an opposition, there's polarity, right? So that sounds kind of stupid for me to say that. But I do feel like, or I do think it's possible that oppositions to the galactic center perhaps might give someone like there might be an amplified polarization about that person. I would also say that to be the case if the person has conjunctions and oppositions to the galactic center, galactic anti-center. I mentioned that because I've talked about whistleblowers some in these videos. Let me pull up the charts. And there are other examples too, but I'll just use 3 main ones. The first one I'm going to talk about is Edward Snowden. Okay, so he has Neptune conjunct the GC and the Sun, Mars, and the North Node conjunct the Anticenter. Okay, he's a pretty polarizing person. What he did is polarizing. Some people really, really love him for what he did, and some people consider him a patriot. Some people consider him a traitor. There doesn't seem to be a lot of middle ground with him as far as how people think about him. I personally would call him a patriot, but that's just me. But I also know that there are people that would call him a traitor. There is a polarization there, right? Like he is in that sense, he is a polarizing person. I don't know how he is in real life and in his real personal life, but there is a polarization as far as how people see him. Also a polarization as to what he communicated what truth he told in the first place, how he communicated it, how it came out. There's just a lot of polarization around it. Another example, she does not have a time, so it's just a without houses chart, but this is Chelsea Manning. Okay, now I want to say this chart, for some reason they don't pull Chiron, but Chiron is opposite the Galactic Center. It's at, what is it at? 26 Gemini, you can see. I don't know why the hell they don't pull the damn asteroid there, but it is opposite that clusterfuck in Sagittarius. Mercury, Sun, Uranus, and Saturn. She is also a polarizing person. What she did, releasing all the classified or sensitive, not necessarily classified documents. What was it, like 750,000 or something that she released to WikiLeaks. There are some people that think what she did was good, and then there are some people that don't think she should have been pardoned. There's a polarization there, right? There's no real middle ground. Doesn't seem to be anyway. Now, let me see. Now, his is interesting. Julian Assange? Okay, so I know I mentioned before, he doesn't have any conjunctions to the Galactic Center. He does have Venus conjunct the Anti-Center. Now, his is interesting. He's very polarizing too. He is very polarizing too. There are people that think that he should be locked up with the key thrown away. And then there are people that feel like, he shouldn't be. I don't think he should be locked up. But, but that's just me. But he is polarizing. He is a polarizing person. I feel like there is something to this. Obviously, these are extreme examples, right? These are whistleblower examples. They are extreme examples. I feel like there might be something to this, though. Like, people that have oppositions to the GC, people that have conjunctions and oppositions to the GC, they might be more polarizing individuals. It might amplify a polarization somehow. Of course, it would depend on, the whole chart, what house this is going on in, what planets we're talking about are conjunct the Anti-Center or the Galactic Center, or or both. The whole thing would need to be taken into account. But I think about people that I've known in my own life that have the opposition to the GC or the opposition in the conjunction. People that I've known in my own life, my family, my friends, even clients, there does seem to be something about these people that can be rather polarizing. It might be that it just depends on exactly what is going on as to what that actually is. But there does seem to be a correlation between there being something about these people that you either really love them or you really don't. It seems to be like amplified somehow with the GC and the GAC involved in this. Obviously, you're going to have polarization with any opposition in a way, but this seems to warp it, to amplify it, to change it, to make it bigger. But yeah, these are some of my thoughts. I would love to hear anybody's thoughts on this. If you've got like the opposition to the GC or the opposition to the GC and the conjunction to the GC, do you feel like you are polarizing? Do you feel like this wasn't one of the questions on the questionnaire. So if you feel like, I would love to hear if you feel like there might be something about you that is more polarizing. If you know this, or if you know this about yourself, or if you just feel like, yeah, maybe there is. I'd love to hear it. I really would. Or if you feel like, nah, bitch, you crazy, you know. There's other polarizing about me. I would love to hear it. So put them in the comments or whatever. I really would. I'd love to know your thoughts. But anyway, I'm going to get going. If you want to follow us on Instagram, you can find us at Let's Fuck With Astrology. I'm at Saturn Season Astrology on Instagram. Natalie is at Paternal Astrology on Instagram. If you want to subscribe to us on YouTube or whatever, I don't know why I said Facebook. We don't have Facebook yet. You can search for Let's Fuck With Astrology in the YouTube search bar. If you do the Reddit thing, you can join us on the subreddit Let's Fuck With Astrology. And if you're interested in the star cards, go to letsfuckwithastrology.com/star-cards. Okay, y'all. I'll see y'all later.